Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy all, Red O'Loughlin here. Beginning today with the Corner Bookstore on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And I'm honored to have a guest. We connected a week or two back on another show here on the USA Global TV and Radio Network called The Wise Ones. And we talked a lot about her literal empire of her profession. She's a singer-songwriter, and I'll introduce her in just a second. But today on the Corner Bookstore, just to kind of bring you up to date, we did a reunion show yesterday that lasted about 4 hours. We had over a dozen hosts and other parties on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And we do this about every 6 months or so. Get a chance for people to come in and get their 15 minutes of the stuff that you don't know about Red O'Loughlin or whoever else. So yeah, I spent 31 years in the military. Some people know that, some don't. I flew for 16 years, got an invitation to Vietnam, got an invitation to Bosnia, all the little things that they invite you to that you can't say no to. Anyway, but to get to our show today and then to get on to our next ones, I have 3 hours back to back today. So the first hour is the Corner Bookstore, and we're going to learn a lot today about the singer, songwriter, book author, Glenda Benevides. Please join me.
Hey. Hi,
Hey, Glenda.
Red.
Good to see you again. It's just like a week or two ago we were.
I know. Hey, it's fun to know about you because I actually I did a DoD USO a tour.
Oh, wow. When did you do that?
Oh gosh, it was like probably the 80s, late 80s or whatever. And I had the wonderful pleasure of going on the Midway.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And where did the Midway take you? Or were you just on the Midway for a night or two?
Yeah, I was just on there for a dinner and a celebration for us to perform for the guys.
Well, that's kind of neat because you had to land and take off of a carrier. That's something I've never done.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The whole tour was amazing. So it was and then I think we did what they call Westpac.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was really enlightening to just say the least.
Well, I made it into Utapao, Thailand, I think the night before Bob Hope showed up.
Oh wow, that's pretty special.
Yeah, I was back during Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And, I missed it. Some of the people who were there took some photos, and I got a chance to at least see a little bit of it. But they were so far up, you look like an ant down there in the bottom.
Right.
But I had to applaud people because you're putting yourself in danger. You're just flying. But you land on a carrier. That's a lot of danger. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. You never know what's going to happen. And if you end up going to like Vietnam or Thailand or some other Westpac opportunity, there's a lot that can happen. I mean, I've been there when the sirens go off and all the rest of that stuff, and you got to go find a place to hide and everything. It's not good for your psyche. It's not good for everything, but
it gives you a new, fresh experience of what it takes to be organized and what it takes to protect our country. So,
well, I remember one time walking back, and we have big revetments. I mean, these things are like a U-shaped area where you back the aircraft into it. And our aircraft are pretty tall. So these things must be about 40 feet tall, but they're to protect the aircraft in case of attack. And I think the squadron that was there before us did have some damage to one of their aircraft. But I can remember walking out there, and I'm walking out there. I have my boots on, and I'm almost, the water is 6, 8 inches tall, and you're sloughing over, and it's dark, and don't think much of it, because by the time you land after 12 hours of flying, your boots are dry again because of the air conditioning. But then, yeah. But one of the times I'm walking back in, I'm looking at this kid coming in with a gun as big as he is. He's standing out there on the fence all night long, or all day long, or whatever the case may be. And I'm thinking to myself, we had a bunch of brand new people join the squadron, and that was their whole purpose in life, was to provide some level of protection. But here you got an 18-year-old out there. I have no idea what training he has, but he's out there protecting us. And I remember one time watching the outdoor movie, and all of a sudden the sky lit up with paraflares, and you could hear the that along the river behind where we were at there at Cameron Bay. But it was not as interesting as Bosnia in some regards. In some other regards, far more interesting. But But anyway, let's get to you, because that's the important part today. You have at least 3 books that I know of. Let's see here. You have Glenda Benevides' new book, Courage. Find the fire and ignite action in your life. Let's start with that one, Courage.
Courage. It kind of came out of a situation originally, because it was around a lot of people want to know about Badass Goddess. So it kind of came out of that. And I was standing in my kitchen, and a girlfriend of mine goes, "Oh, you're a badass goddess." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And the first thing you want to do is like, no, I'm not, And then I thought, I need to really take that in, because that was something that she felt that she wanted to compliment me on in her world. And I was like, okay, let me take that in. So I did. And I really looked at, how do I define badass? How would I really define that? And so I created an acronym out of it: beautiful, accessible, daring, abundant, right? So I created this whole positive thing around being a badass. And that's really how it started. And then I got down the road about a year or so, and then I really decided, I really kind of was looking at, a friend of mine was trying to write a book, and he'd been trying to write this book for like 10 years. And I'm like, 10 years? Oh my God. I thought, how hard could it be to write a book? And of course it depends on the book, obviously. But what I realized was, I thought, I sat back, I go, do I have any value, anything to share with people? And it really came up with like, well, let me try. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to write this book in 15 days. It's a challenge. So I'm going to do a chapter a day. So I did. I got it done, chapter a day. And then I really sat back. I had to sit with it, and I had to reread it. I had to rewrite it. And then, oh my goodness, 6 months has gone by, because I was, moving back and forth from Boston and that kind of thing. So a year later, it took about a year, because I had a wonderful editor come in and like really help me, like, let's really make this so it flows right. And then I published it, and that's really how it happened. And then it was really looking within. And at that point, I had been helping a lot of different friends. Like, they would say, well, what are you doing with this? And I don't understand. I'd complain. And I would like, well, have you thought about this? And so I took basically that. It's a journey of, the book is a journey of my time, not in the military, but it felt like it. My time in the music industry, and what it took to overcome all the trials and the tribulations, really, in that part of the industry. Because everyone thinks, oh, I'm a musician. Oh, I could sing. I could do this. And it's like, yeah, maybe. But when you're on a journey with that, you got to look at, am I clear about it? Am I clear about what I want? Do I have courage to do what I want? Do I have confidence? How do I get to confidence? And how do I get to commitment? And how do I get eventually to community? And so that's really what the book is about, how I did all those things.
But when somebody else assigned you a name as a badass, That's what happens when, Navy pilots, fighter pilots, they're, Goose or Iceman or Viper or whatever. Somebody assigns that. They don't pick them themselves. That's the
Right.
community's opinion of who they are. Now, maybe just an abbreviation of your last name in some cases, because that's what people call you and that's what you become.
Right.
But it's not something that you pick yourself and you parade up there, because that's your internal thought. It's like, well, I know what my book cover should be, but it's not what everybody else wants it to be. And that's a problem that some of us authors have, is that we pick our book covers and it doesn't connect as well with the audience. But in your particular case, let's go on down that road, because when you talked about the clarity and knowing what you wanted to do, you brought up the other day of how do you get to be a Grammy nominated star? And I think it follows along the same pathway that we're talking right now, because when you mentioned that you were there and we said, well, how does that happen? And you said, well, I found out and then I did it. And so why don't we take a brief respite from the book and just talk about how did you become a Grammy nominated star? Because that's an interesting story. I think it fits in very, very nicely right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. We're on that trail right now, and it's kind of crazy because there's fires going on down there. We're like sitting on the edge of our seats. Are they going to cancel it? Are they da, 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 da? And they just announced last week, or like 3 or 4 days ago, they announced that we are going ahead with Grammys. There will be a show, the whole 9 yards, but they're doing a benefits. They're now taking all that money and heading towards all the artists that are in dire need of some money right now. Anyway, so yeah, how do I explain it? At first, you really come from a place of like, I've been in the business for a long time and I need some accolades and I need to participate with some artists that are amazing, that that are really up to something, that are really, really wanting, are a top professional in their art form. And I want to play with those people. That sounds fun. That's how I grow. That's how I learn. And that's how you make really beautiful, poignant music. In my perception. So anyway, yeah, I just really wanted to be involved in that community and the community here in San Francisco, because that's where I'm at. Matter of fact, tonight is our Grammy nominees celebration party. So for our chapter here in San Francisco. So that's going to be fun tonight. So I'm going to be heading to that later on this afternoon, but yeah, I don't know if I answered the question properly.
Absolutely. Because it leads into your next book. If I like to get back to the first book, Courage, you said you wrote it in 15 days thereabouts, and you probably spent more than 15 days getting it edited, because it always takes forever to get edited.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you got to get a cover, but
yeah.
When did you start marketing the book? I mean, obviously you had a very short window you wrote it in. Was the book done and then you started marketing, or were you telling people about your book as you were going along?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think I told people. I think I just did it, and then I just started telling people that I did it. Yeah, I think it was more, I really did it more of a challenge, not like I'm going to be an author. That wasn't my, and then the manager that I had at the time, he was like, oh, we need to get you a publicist. And so he found me a publicist up in Canada that helps me, matter of fact, with these shows and that type of thing. We can talk about my book and variety of music and that a variety of things. So yeah, it really wasn't like I'm an author, it's like, no, I'm a musician. And I write my stories of how I get things accomplished. So yeah.
Now, is your publicist Mickey?
Yeah, it's Mickey from Creative Edge.
If you want to give him a plug, go ahead.
Of course, Creative Edge publicity. He's fabulous.
Yeah, we've had him on the show before, and great guy. when we're in extremis and we're down to the, I got a show tomorrow, I can't find what Mickey, and he rescues us. So he's
Yeah.
super attentive to us. So I know he's super attentive to his clients. But
Yeah, he is. He's really a good guy.
now, with that same theme you had in your first book, Courage, you came out with the second book called Own the Goddess Within.
Yeah.
So is this the badass goddess, or is this just a different goddess?
This is the badass goddess. Yeah. Yeah. The focus really was on what can I do daily to really elicit that aspect of oneself and whatever you want to create. So yeah, so that's how I started to write that book. It's like little antidotes, like, have you thought about this? What are you doing for this? How about try this? That type of thing.
Now, when you're writing, this is your second book. How long did that take you?
I had been writing it for a while, just like jotting down, this is what here's a formula for, meditation, or whatever, or how do I take care of myself? What does that mean? That kind of thing. So it's more of that. Yeah. So and I just kind of put it all together one day, and Mickey's like, I said, well, I wrote this thing and I've been giving it away for free. And he's like, what? I said, I give it away for free. And then he goes, no, don't do that. You're devaluing yourself. And I never thought of it from that perspective. I mostly thought of it as a gift, as, here's a gift. If you're interested in what I'm up to, you'll give me your email address. I will give you the book, so in a way it wasn't free, but it's like a way to find, I was feeling like it was a way to give a gift to people, and then I could find my audience, the people that really are into me and what I'm doing and want to follow me and that kind of thing. And then here's a thank you gift. That's how I was looking at it. But Mickey was like, yeah, that's fine. But he's like, I think, we don't want to devalue you. We don't want to devalue what you're up to and that kind of thing. And I totally get that. And I was like, oh, okay. On some levels, it was like, no, people can buy those books for like $2, $4 or whatever. At least it's something. And so it's an energy exchange, if that makes sense. And I think that's important.
In some circles, it's called an ethical bribe, because you're giving them something of value, but you're asking for something in return, their contact information.
Yeah.
And that's the way people build email lists, that over time, those things. I used to do that with the book that literally I just published last week.
Wow.
10 years ago, I was giving it away as a PDF. And
yeah,
I took that same book. Okay, it's written mostly, I mean, it's in book format. And I just looked at it, revised, updated, added. And so it's a lot more now than I gave away. But so, it's there. It's 90% complete. I could almost publish it as is. It just wouldn't be as up to date as I would like it to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so why not? I used to give away some other little things. They're just 2 or 3 pages, not a book,
Yeah.
but a lot of good information. And so
yeah.
The thing that I think is interesting is the fact that there's value regardless of which direction you're looking at, value that you're giving people or value that they're receiving. And if that value is at a certain level, people can give you, contact information because they want something from Glenda. And then you have something that you poured your heart and soul out into over time. There's a lot of value in there that may only be in 100 pages, but still the same. There's something there. And so you're having kind of an interchange with your audience directly, as opposed to singing a song and seeing them out there clapping and standing and everything.
Yeah. Well, and I think the point you made was, times have changed, and, different things are needed or wanted at different times. And so you have to like really pay attention to where people are at, what people want. And that goes back to my first book, Clarity, Courage, Confidence, Commitment, Community. And it only happens in that flow. You cannot have community or confidence if you don't have clarity. If you don't know who you are, where you're going, you're going to get random people, random ideas, and it may not be a fit for you. It's really important to understand that part of you. What, what are my boundaries? What are the things that I want? That type of thing. You really have to have that clear, because if you don't have that clear, you just get all kinds of stuff coming at you. So the same thing with the books and the marketing and stuff like that. And I think, things are changing, Red, and you have to just really look and see, where people are going. Like, what do they really want? So
And things
what's
change over
valuable.
time, and things change over time too, Glenda, because what you started out doing is different than what you're doing today, and it's probably going to be different what you're doing 5 or 10 years from now. I started out and I was a speaker, then I wrote a book, and then I did something else, and then I did something else, and now I'm doing something else. But I still have vestiges of what I used to do because I
Yeah.
have a passion for them, and I don't want to just give them up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you add unto it. You know what I mean? It's not that what you did 10 years ago or 5 minutes ago is not valuable. It is valuable. And then you use it, you utilize it, and then you morph it into what's next.
You take a little bit of clay off, you mold it a little bit better, you make it okay. It's more more
Yeah.
realistic, and you improve yourself and your product or your service. Now,
Yes.
the
Yes.
third book you did is The Soul on Fire: The
Yeah.
Power of Owning Your Full Self-Expression.
Yeah.
How did that evolve? That's an interesting title.
Yeah, that kind of came into I was preparing to do a retreat. And the retreat is called Soul on Fire. And I put that book together as uh, what's the word? Compendium? No, I can't think of it. But it's to add to Soul on Fire workshop and retreat. Excuse me, not a workshop, but a retreat. So that's kind of how that started, and it's actually more. I can't even remember now. There's more pieces of inspiration. How do I step into being more inspired? How do I create that fire? How do I light that fire? So that's what Soul on Fire is about.
I think Light That Fire is also the name of a song or something, if I remember
Yes.
right. Very,
Yes.
very nice song too, by the way.
Jim Morrison. Come on, baby, light my fire.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people realize his dad was an admiral in the Navy. Uh,
Yeah.
and I was reading something recently about Val Kilmer uh, practicing that role for the movie, and he had spent
Yeah.
6 months uh, singing his songs every day to a point that even Morrison could not tell the difference between him singing a song and Val Kilmer singing the song.
Yeah.
It was that
Oh,
close.
I believe it. That's what I thought too. When I heard, I was like, "Oh my God, he sounds just like Jim Morrison." I was like, "Whoa!" And he looks like him. Oh my God, it was
But
amazing.
when you become a professional, you do the things that have to be done for
Mm,
you to be that person that you're portraying.
mhm,
I use an example I may have used on the show the other day about a
mm,
plumber that I had at my house, and he was putting in a garbage disposal. And
mm,
one of the hard parts about putting one in is a little lock ring thing that goes in there. And we were just talking. He says, "Yeah, I spent a couple nights for about 2 or 3 weeks, and that's all I did. I put the thing, take it out, put it in, take it out. I'd have it below my knees, I'd have
right.
it above my knees, and I said that's all I would do, so I could do it without even thinking, left-handed, right-handed. So when I put in one out, it's just boom, it goes in. I don't even think about it. But that's just a plumber. I mean, I had a plumber here this morning for a minor deal, and I was amazed. He didn't charge me anything. He just says, "You buy this
Yeah,
part, I'll put it in, or you put it in yourself." Whoa, we don't have that
yeah,
kind of plumbers nowadays. They make
yeah.
a call and charge.
That's some old school way of being. I love it. I still have some people here in California, which is unusual, that will do things like that. They just come over and just do it. Takes 2 minutes.
Okay, but one of the paths that authors tend to go down is they write the book, and then they'll get a speaking opportunity.
Hmm.
But another path that we don't talk about very often is one that you chose, and that's retreats, where
Yeah.
Part of the retreat cost is you buy my book. Part of it is we study my book. But you leave here knowing what's in my book and knowing how to change your life. When did you come up with this retreat idea, or had you been to one and you say, "Oh, this is going to work well for me"?
Well, I just thought I saw, first of all, it made sense. We wouldn't want to put a book and do a retreat if it's, about something that doesn't make any sense. It's like, what? No, I thought you roll the book in just so people have the book. That was one of the ideas. And it just allows, it's not like a step-by-step thing. Because I've changed it a little bit. So now it's a variety of people that are in the 3-day retreat, which creates more value, creates more insights, wisdom, self-expression. Like, it really creates that when you just don't have one person doing one thing with one book. You've got several people, everybody comes in, and it makes this beautiful, retreat, an experience of whatever you're trying to share with them. So, like, for us, excuse me, for me, it's around self-expression, leadership, compassion. How do you work that into clarity, confidence, commitment, and community? How do you work that in? How do we have that? How does that flow inside of me? What makes me unique? That type of thing. And not follow this rule and then you're going to be this. It's like, no, 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 no. It's like, we're going to find out who you are, and we're going to do that through this 3-day retreat. Well, and at the end of the day, the end of the retreat, that's when I come in with my portion of it. And it's and what I call edutainment. And it's a combination of education and also music. So there's music, video, voiceover. There's all these wonderful things. You get a journal, you get my book, that type of thing. So that's what's going to be happening for that 3-day retreat. So I just thought that it made sense. A lot of times things don't make sense. So you got to have it logically make sense. And how do people get value?
Well, you started out with clarity, and I think you're absolutely right. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, as Alice in Wonderland found out. And so the clarity is something that I think a lot of us kind of know why we're here, but we don't. We don't spend any time thinking about it. And if we do think about it, we don't spend that much time. So that clarity, even in our own brain, yeah, we're here. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a business owner. I'm a whatever, singer, songwriter. But it's not necessarily the clarity that we want for our lives.
Exactly.
And when you know that clarity, then you can move to the next stage, as you're talking about. So what you're talking about makes all the sense in the world. But you got to start someplace, and everyone's different. You may be unique, but the path you chose to your uniqueness works for everyone.
Yeah. And to add to that, Red, also, you're different at different times in your life. You have different stages. Like, the thread that runs through my life is music, but it's different than it was to me in 1980 to like now, and as a performer, and the ongoing clarity, the ongoing wisdom, the ongoing evolution, that is what helps inform you who you are today. Do you wake up today? Is this my mission today? What's my mission? Who am I? What do I want? If we do more of those things and we live by those, our intentions and our mission, if we live by that, if you create one, and that was one of the things that I taught in my workshops, was create your own declaration of independence. What does that mean? Create your own. And I'd make everybody write out their own declaration of who they are now, not last year, not 20 years ago, and not tomorrow. It's like, who are you right now and where are you going? So that you have to have that foundation. Otherwise, you're just running around doing a bunch of stuff.
The first squadron I was ever in after I got out of boot camp was in Pensacola, Florida. And they had a video that's called Sex on the Naval Aviator Part 2. And it was filmed in the auditorium at Naval Air Station, Pensacola. And it was, I believe, a Navy captain, a doctor, psychiatrist. And he was talking about what makes you a naval aviator. And it was a psychological profile. And he said, the first thing he says we're going to do is, I want everybody in here who is the oldest born male in the family to raise your hand. And literally almost every single hand went up.
Oh, interesting.
And he says, that's pretty impressive. He says, you're not going to find that in Army aviation. You're not going to find it in the Air Force, but in Navy you will. He says, what's even more amazing, fascinating, it says, of those of you who are married, how many of you are married to the oldest born female in the family? And almost all the same arms went up. And so in the different squadrons I was in, I would ask the question, are you the oldest born male married? And literally 90% were. Now, I'm the oldest of 9. My wife is the middle of 7, but the oldest born female. And there's a dynamic there that he talked about. And we also talked about, as you said a moment ago, missions. You have a mission today. But when you're an aviator, you have a mission. But that doesn't mean you can't abort that mission. There are some things that you're checking your aircraft out and it's not going to fly today because of this, and you can't get the part. So it's okay to abort a mission. And so sometimes people get so fixed on, I got this mission, I got to get done, that they don't realize that things happen that I don't necessarily have to do this mission today.
That's
I had a mission yesterday I had to get done, and that was my Texas sales tax. Had to get that filed, and that was just, right to the last minute. I've known about it for a long time, and I just waited and waited and waited. And finally, I didn't have a choice. I couldn't abort that mission.
Yeah,
done.
Exactly. And that's really a great point because, I think it's important to start. It's important to start somewhere, get that clarity, have that mission, and jump in there. And like you said, you may go, whoa, I need to abort this mission. Let me rewrite it. Let me go back to the drawing board, so to speak, and just really hone in. But you have to start. You have to jump in, because if you don't, it'll always be some fantasy of like, well, I could have been this, or I could have done that, or I wish I would have, and you don't know. At least you can say, yeah, I tried it, and yeah, it didn't work, and now I'm taking a right turn here. So I've done a lot of those.
Okay, so you've written 3 books, about 5 dozen songs, and how is the writing of a song similar to and different than writing a book?
Ooh, I don't want to say the word easier. Writing a song, they're 2 different animals. You're both telling stories, and if you're doing a really good song, you're definitely telling a story. It just doesn't take as long. It can take, it could be 10 minutes or 2 weeks to write a song. It just depends. But a book, you have I don't know. That's a really great question. I don't know. That you've really stumped me on that one.
Well, your author hat on, and you're focused on the book, and it's a different process.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know whether you come up with the tune first and fill in the words, or you kind of find the words you want to talk about, and then the tune develops as you're doing it. But obviously, it's so much more difficult, I think, to write a novel where you have characters and plots and locations and as opposed to be writing about some aspect of health and wellness, versus writing a song that not only meets the criteria of a song, but is entertaining to other people, and somebody's willing to pay money to see me do that or buy the song. And that's a little different than just being an author.
Yeah, I think so too. They're similar, but at the same time, they're 2 different animals. And it depends on the book that you're writing too. Some books you need research, like you need to do some serious research. You got to keep organized. You got to keep the flow, unless you're telling some fanciful story. And even then, you have to know what your character did, 2 months prior. Versus, I wrote from my own story with my books, and then the wisdom that came out of that. And that's just my wisdom. I tend to be a more practical person. So my wisdom is a little different, I think. But just anyway, take it for what it is. But writing songs, for me, I am trying to tell a story. I am trying to make a point usually. And it can come in any form. Sometimes, like with my music partner and I, he'll come to me with music already, and I'll see if I'm vibing it, or if I'm flowing, or what's the story, what's it telling me, and I'll say yep, that it does, or nope, it doesn't, and then we just move on to another song. Sometimes I'll write all the lyrics out, and then I'll come to him and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Sometimes I'll have a melody first. It's a variety of things.
Okay, so the real difference is just between being a badass goddess and being a global badass goddess. A global part of your title now says, I can write books, but I can also do songs and be nominated for a Grammy,
A Grammy.
which occurs in about 2 weeks or less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting toward the end of the show. Is there something I should have asked you that I didn't?
Oh, probably, but but no, I'm just really honored and very excited about, having all these years of, work, and just being able to be with my community of musicians, and really make a difference, like really be able to talk about the things that are really important for us right now, as a human race, and to also let people know that once you purchase anything of mine, I will plant a tree, and I plant trees with One Tree Planted. They're fabulous, and they plant trees all over the world. And I take a small percentage off of whatever you've purchased, and then I donate that in to One Tree Planted. Then they go out and they plant the tree. We're about 400 trees now, so yep, I'm excited. Things are good, and it's important for all of us to come together and just really know that we're all connected, and that we should make a difference, and we need to take care of our environment, because our environment takes care of us. And if we don't take care of our environment, the impacts are immense, and we're seeing that right now in Los Angeles.
Well, maybe in the future you'll have a retreat in the Los Angeles area where you will be leading a group of people planting trees, because that area is definitely going to need some attention.
Oh yeah. Well, we're having a retreat, but we're going to be in the UK first. That'll be next year, or this year. We're already in the year. And so, if you jump on and stay connected to me, I can let you know when the retreat is, and you can find out who will be joining us, and the dates and times, and it'll be really fun. And yeah, and I don't physically plant trees, just to be clear. Everyone goes, "Oh, you're planting trees." No, I'm not.
But you can supervise planting trees.
No, I can actually give money to One Tree Planted to go plant trees for you and me.
Okay. It's been fun today. I really and truly appreciate it. You have a great smile, real
Thanks.
super easy to converse with, and I thank you so very much for that.
Thanks.
I look forward to our next visit. It seems like we do connect periodically over time. So
Yeah.
I wish you the best on the first week there in February with the Grammy Awards, and I trust that you will walk away with something that will make you super happy.
Thanks, Red. I really appreciate you. And yeah, we'll have to talk military some more later.
Fantastic. I look forward to that myself.
Okay.
Take care, Glenda. Bye
Cheers.
now. Okay, we're concluding the Corner Bookstore today on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. My next show, literally in about 20 minutes, is called The Wise Ones. And today my guest is Hyatt Ives. He's a good friend of mine. He's been on the show here in the past several times, but it's been a while, quite a while actually. And he is a best-selling author, speaker. He also is what I call an authority on events, like convention events where you have a lot of people come in, a lot of vendors. And great guy in many, many regards. So please join me for that. And then immediately following that is Talking Heads, again on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And I'll be talking today about inflammation. So with that being said, I bid you all adieu today. Have a wonderful time. And I look forward to catching you all next week. Take care. Bye now.
Hello, I'm children's author Diane Floyd Bain, and I am co-host for several of the USA Global TV and radio shows. I joined because of the purpose of the USA Global TV and radio. They provide content for the viewers and listeners, an opportunity for people around the world to have their own show or even be a guest on an existing show. We truly believe in helping others get their positive message out to the world. We also have the opportunity for the listeners. You can watch on several platforms, and on YouTube, you can ask questions and even give a comment. We absolutely love it. I love being part of the USA Global TV and radio because I love positive messages. And who doesn't? And we need more of that in the world. We are a family, and we hope you will join us and become part of the family too.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session. or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations.